once again to the YouTube channel Have You Not Read. Today we're going to begin a new series entitled What is Islam, or The Truth About Islam. It is and has been and always will be a controversial subject that quickly divides people. So the purpose of these videos will be just to deal with the facts from Islamic doctrine and from the Quran itself. There is a wide gap and fundamental difference between Islam and Christianity. And about the only thing that they do agree upon and have in common is monotheism, the belief in only one God. And I'm going to begin with a brief history of the background of how Islam came to be coming into existence. And then we'll examine as we go along the doctrines of Islam and how they radically differ from biblical Christianity. As in Christianity, there are, by the way, different groups and different beliefs within Islam, but they all hold to the Quran as their source of doctrine. So how did Islam come about? Where and how did it all get started? Well, the founder of Islam, Muhammad, was born in Mecca into the Quraysh tribe around AD 570. And as of this video, there are no known non-Muslim biographies about Muhammad. And there are two main Islamic sources: the life and history of Muhammad by Ibn Ishaq, and the expeditions of Muhammad, which was written in 822. The life of the history of Muhammad was written in AD 768. Now, Muhammad was raised in an area of the Kaaba, an idol temple filled with 360 images representing deities that they worshipped at that time. Allah, but I guess you would say Allah, was recognized as the chief god of the idols in the Kaaba. It had been the official god of Muhammad's tribe for many centuries. And Muhammad began receiving revelations as a young man, and these revelations terrified him into thinking that he was maybe even being deceived by Satan. His wife assured him that Allah was actually speaking to him. Now, Muhammad came to believe that Allah was the source of inspiration through the angel Gabriel. He was getting these revelations from Allah through Gabriel. And his revelations were compiled and came to be known as the Quran or the Quran. And for a time, however, these revelations that he was getting so troubled him that he actually attempted suicide several times before coming to the conclusion that Allah's exclusive prophet, that he was Allah's exclusive prophet, and that Allah was the only God. Opposition to him escalated in the area where he lived. There came a time when Muhammad had to flee Mecca in AD 622 and settled in what is now known as Medina. And there, over time, he grew in power and stature. He gained many followers. He received even more revelations. And one of them was that the entire world must submit to Allah. Islam, the word means submission. He also taught that Islam must be forced under the threat of death by the sword and death to those who refuse to convert to Islam. Muhammad in his lifetime had been a man of war. He was no shrinking violet. This was a warrior. And he taught his followers that Allah demanded them to take up arms as well. And he and his followers began making raids on the caravans that would pass through their area, with Muhammad leading the charge against these caravans, where they would rob and assault and not do very pleasant things to the people in the caravans. He began, at this time, Muhammad began murdering those who opposed him. And Muhammad established his new religion, I guess you could call it, by attacking caravans and villages, and put the sword out with the threat of death to bring fear and impose his will on other Arabs. So in the beginning, he mainly just went after Arabs. He then turned, there came a point in time where he turned his anger and his rage against Jews and Christians, killing all who refused to become Muslims and couldn't escape from his wrath. He eventually killed every Jew in the Arabian Peninsula who couldn't escape. And I'll tell you, even to this day, no Jew is allowed to set foot in the nation of Saudi Arabia. Not only that, there are no other houses of worship that may be constructed in Saudi Arabia other than Islamic mosques. I could be here for hours and hours and hours going over the exploits and the mayhem that Muhammad brought in his lifetime. But the bottom line is this, folks, about Islam. There is no denying that Islam had a violent beginning. It was a violence-based religion. And in many parts of the world, unfortunately, today, it still is. Even Islamic writing, people who, Muslims who have written about Muhammad do not deny this, because you can't. And besides being acknowledged as Islam's prophet, Muhammad was a warrior. He was a military leader who viewed war as a way to spread his new religion. These facts cannot be denied. Now, in the following videos, that's just a very, very brief, concise history of the origins of Islam. There is so much. There have been books written about this. Now, in the following videos, we're going to look into the doctrines of Islam. We will look into the Quran and look at some of the quotes and beliefs that are taught in the Quran. The resources that you can research and read include The Life of Muhammad by Ibn Ishaq, Judgment Day, Islam, Israel, and the Nations by Dave Hunt, and Politically Incorrect Guide to Islam.